So, for example, Al-Qaeda, as I mentioned in India, in some communities I was with in India, Al-Qaeda needs to be brought to a bargaining table with other major players in the region. And you deal with, what are your real needs? You don't talk about, well, he hit me, well, he hit me, well, he hit me, like little kids fighting each other. But rather, what are your real needs? And am I listening to those real needs? You see, terrorism, and what we call terrorism, comes out of oppression. If you have a world where we really are listening to each other and caring about each other, you're not going to have terrorism. Terrorism comes out of poverty and feeling oppressed, dominated by others. That's what it comes out of. So you address the underlying real needs of people. But you hear our leaders in America saying, well, they're jealous of what we have. They give the answer. They don't ask Al-Qaeda, go there and say, what do you really need? What are your real needs? How do I respect you and you respect me? And that's real conflict resolution. But in our culture, getting worse because as people are feeling more insecure and threatened with the breakdown of a society that isn't working, to fear the other and make them other. And they are evil. We demonize those that are different. Democrats and Republicans is so bad that they tend to demonize each other in the Congress. And the extremism that's on the rise, I understand it. When somebody says, I don't understand how so-and-so can think that way, my first reaction is, maybe you don't really want to. Do you really want to know what that person thinks? Are you serious about asking that question? Or saying, I can't understand. Do you really want to? Usually people don't want to understand. It's just a normal kind of cultural way of saying, I reject that person and they are other. They're not a part of me. So, part of the self-transformation dimension of it all, I am a part of every other human being and every living creature. I'm a part of them. One way I'll put it, I hope, this idea of after we die, what happens? Well, is there some other place? But to me, the state is a state of oneness with whatever the higher power is that you understand. For me, it is God. And compassion is at the heart of the universe. And Desjardins said, love is the most formidable of all cosmic energies. Yeah, that's the most transformative. And I do believe it is more powerful than our fears and violences. And I believe in that. So that like a Jesus and a Gandhi, and like Sojourner Truth, I don't hate those who have abused me in my history. And as I have become empowered, and that's what it's about, empowering each other to take back our power as human beings. Why? Because that's what life is about. And in doing that, I am a part of those I challenge and who are challenging me, who threaten my life. I remember Gandhi saying one instance about Gandhi. There was some journalist who was cynical and believed Gandhi had to be a fake. There ain't no such human beings, all this nonsense. And so he came to hang around Gandhi and went with him. And Gandhi's usually walking and going places. And badgering Gandhi, out of his cynicism, Gandhi stopped and looked at him and says, the major difference between you and me, I'm ready to die at any moment to give my life for others, whereas you will do anything to cling to your life. That's the biggest difference between you and me. Fear. So my conviction is, fear is my biggest enemy on the planet. My fear is my biggest enemy. And I believe it's the biggest enemy of everybody else. And so how do we give each other the courage to begin to see reality and see the nonsense of violence and really commit ourselves to an alternative? And so I'm tasting it all the time. I walk around, Daniel Berrigan said something like, everything is so upside down. We got to walk on our hands to see the world as it really is. And it's easy to simply point the finger and blame and rage at. No, that's not what it's about. Yeah, we have to go through our process of healing inside, of, okay, raging, but how do we get to have the courage to begin to transform? And we need each other. And that the, quote, enemy is part of the human family. I don't want to exterminate anyone or anything. No. We get beyond hate. We get beyond resentment, living out of resentments. We get beyond living out of fear. We have fears, but we have to work through them and walk through them. And we need each other. That's part of the village life. Face to face, we help each other. And the spirituality of nonviolence is at the bottom of all philosophy of morality. And the best world we can create.